Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Paramita and I heartily welcome you to my channel Paramita PM. If you are new to my channel, then I would request you to go through the content of my channel, look at the videos, and if you really find those videos helpful and if they really heighten your interest, then do like it, share it, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And most importantly, please turn on the notification bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload any new videos on my channel. So now, without any further ado, let's get into the lecture. Let us have a look at those factors that are responsible for colonialism. The first factor that is immensely responsible for colonialism is economic gain. The European nations set up colonies in different parts of the world for the sake of their own economic gain. Therefore, when they set up colonies, or let's say when they colonized another country, they exploited the natural resources, and at the same time they also exploited human resources. So we all know that colonialism implies territorial expansion, but besides this territorial expansion, we find that the colonizers represented by the very different European nations, they made huge economic gains. The second factor is religion. The Westerners felt that it was their mission, it was as if it was their duty to spread their religion, Christianity. So this is another factor that made them send, Christian missionaries to different parts of the world, and especially these colonies where they have already set up colonies to spread Christianity. The third factor is glory. Now, if you can recollect what I said about Portugal, when Portugal embarked on colonization in the 15th century, and then we found that Spain became envious of Portugal, and therefore several other European nations also began to follow the same path. So as far as this factor glory is concerned, we find that there was a competition between the different European nations, and that led them to embark on this mission of colonizing different parts of the country. In fact, the European nations, they believed that this colonial life or this venture of colonialism would provide them with new opportunities. And therefore, in order to strengthen the economy of their country, they simply went on colonizing, they simply went on subjugating, different countries which appeared to be weaker to them. Therefore, it is through the use of military power, which is implied by imperialism, through the practice of imperialism, that the European nations colonized different parts of the world. And that's why I always say that as far as colonialism is concerned, it is a practice, while imperialism is a theory or a policy. And it is through practicing this theory, or it is through practicing this policy, that the European nations became successful in setting up colonies in different parts of the world. It should be noted that various factors, that when this European exploration was going on, when these European invasions, when this European colonization was going on, it happened for different economic reasons. For instance, if I talk about Spain, that Spain colonized North America. What for? Spain was looking for silver, Spain was looking for gold. Therefore, it colonized North America in order to access, or in order to get hold of these resources. Then if I take for instance France. Why did France colonize North America? France colonized North America because it found that in North America, they could get huge amount of furs. So, in order to get hold of huge amount of furs, France colonized North America. So, as you can see, there were different economic reasons that made the European nations colonize different parts of the world. Colonialism is therefore not possible without imperialism. The colonizers always require military strength, military power in order to dominate, the people of the weaker country. In order to subjugate them, they need military power, they need military strength. Therefore, it can be said that colonialism can never be possible, or colonization can never take place without imperialism. The common factor between colonialism and imperialism is exploitation. If we look at imperialism, we shall find that it also aims at exploitation, and then if we look at colonialism, there too we find that it aims at exploitation. So now let us have a look at what kinds of exploitation were carried out by the colonizers after they set up colonies in different parts of the world. The first kind of exploitation was financial exploitation. We know that the main concern for the colonizers was money, wealth. So they wanted to strengthen themselves economically, financially. Therefore, they exploited the colonies by exploiting, the natural resources, buying the natural resources or other resources at a cheaper rate. Apart from that, later on when they came back, after having plundered the colonies, they manufactured goods using those resources that they have bought at a cheaper rate, and later on they sold those goods at an exuberant rate in those colonies. So the colonizers found that this colonization or this colonialism actually provided them with a good market where they could make huge profit by selling their own manufactured goods at a very high price to the colonized people. Then we find that political subjugation, this is another kind of exploitation. Once the colonizers settled in a colony, what they did, they simply uprooted, the administrative policies, let's say the political administration, of that colony. They simply uprooted and established their own system of administration. So it is by taking hold of the administration, by uprooting their policies, anything that was related to their reign or to their administration, they simply subjugated, they simply dominated, they simply suppressed the colonized people. So this was another kind of exploitation. Thirdly, or finally, the kind of exploitation that was carried out was social and cultural exploitation. Now, what do we mean by social and cultural exploitation? As far as social exploitation is concerned, we find that these people, the colonized people, did not have any right of their own. They were completely in a state of subjugation, in a state of oppression. As far as language is concerned, they were not even allowed, to speak their own language. Rather, the colonizers, they enforced, their own culture upon them. So as far as culture is concerned, here we can say that how the colonized people were socially as well as culturally, exploited by the colonizers, because they wanted to, establish their dominance. They wanted to establish their culture by uprooting, or by enforcing the colonized people to give up their own culture. So we can find that how these colonized people, got oppressed, how they were socially as well as, culturally repressed by the colonizer. So these are the several ways, by which exploitation took place, or exploitation was carried out by the colonizers in the colonies. I hope I have been able to provide you with a basic idea about colonialism, the factors that contributed to colonialism, and how it functioned. So if you find this lecture helpful, like it, share it, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you soon in another video on colonialism, relate on topics related to colonialism, where we would explore the other aspects of colonialism. Until then, bye bye.